It's a very, very special event that we have here to be able to talk about one of the biggest mitzvahs, mitzvah Yeshuv Eretz Yisrael, the mitzvah of settling Eretz Yisrael. And I'm sure you all know, what is the name for settlement in Israel? Yeshuv. And it's a mitzvah, Yeshuv Eretz Yisrael, to settle in the land of Israel. Today, unfortunately, the word settler or settlement has become some type of word that, people think in a negative light. The media spins it in a negative light. But when you think about it, it originally comes from the word Yeshuv Eretz Yisrael, to settle the land of Israel. And the Chabad has a long history of settling the land of Israel. In 1778, forget the exact year. The Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, his Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Vitebsk, brought a bunch of Hasidim to Eretz Yisrael. They lost, unfortunately, many of them along the way. And when they got there, shortly thereafter, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Vitebsk passed away, and many of them wanted to leave. And instead of having them leave, the Alter Rebbe said, let's send them money. And so started one of the oldest tzedakahs, one of the oldest charities in the world, known as Kolel Chabad. That's the origination of Kolel Chabad. And it was all about settling in the land of Eretz Yisrael, settling in the land of Israel, and to try and keep them there, and so they shouldn't have to come back. In fact, Chabad is so connected with this that one of the reasons why the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, went to prison, what was the alibi? What was the lie they told the Russian government? They said the money that he's sending to Israel, he's sending it because he wants to send to the Ottoman Empire, and through that overthrow the Russian government, because the Russians and the Turks were at war, and the Turks ran Israel at that time. And so they said that the reason he's sending money to Israel is to overthrow the Russian government by giving money to the Turks. And so here we see that the story of Chabad, everybody knows that the imprisonment of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, and then his subsequent release, all this is actually all connected to Yeshuv Eretz Yisrael, to the settling of the land of Israel. And anybody followed Chabad throughout the years, Chabad later then had settlements in Hebron and Tzfat. And so Chabad, and everybody knows the Rebbe stands on settling Eretz Yisrael and pushing for it, and telling people to stay there, not to leave. Whenever there were wars, people wanted to leave. The Rebbe would say, don't worry, Eretz Yisrael is the safest land. It's the land in which God's eyes are always upon it. Sages tell us it's the land that God's eyes are always upon it. But we can send money, but it doesn't happen without the people who actually do it, right? So it's, one thing is to send money, but you got to have actually someone that has to do it. They tell the story of the, it's not really a joke, so don't worry. They tell the story of a chicken and a cow that are going for a walk. For a chicken and a cow that are going for a walk. And the chicken looks at the billboard sign and says, look what I have to do, look at how difficult it is to be a chicken. They're advertising, they're selling eggs. Look at what a look at how difficult it is. So the cow says, oh yeah, you think that's a big deal? Look over there, there's a sign, they're selling steaks. You give a donation, I got to sacrifice myself. So we here live in America, we send the eggs, we give the donation, but there's some people who sacrifice themselves, who stand there for us, they're doing the actual work. And so it's a great pleasure tonight to welcome Rabbi Shmuel Wende. Thank you.
Good evening. My English is okay, but I will speak a bit slow. My parents came from Australia, so Baruch Hashem, I know a bit of English. Shmuel Wende, live in Shavei Shomron. I have Baruch Hashem 4 children waiting for me to come back. Also, I'm waiting to come back. I'm going to speak about the story of my last 11 years of my life, and then what we're doing today to keep and to build Yehuda Shomron and Israel. Before I start, who here heard about the settlement of Homesh?
Yeah, we just saw.
Not enough. So in the end, I will ask again. Okay, Homesh was one of the settlements. It was established in 1980 in the north of Shomron. Homesh wasn't a religious yeshuv settlement. They had 70 families until the Intifada started. When the Intifada started, in 10 days, 3 guys from the yeshuv, from the settlement, was murdered on the way to work, on the way back home, and 3 guys from 70 families is a lot. Half of the families left Homesh, and they became to be only 35 families who live in Homesh. Before I continue, I want only to show you in the map that you will understand where is Homesh in the map of Israel. I brought with me a big map. Okay. This is the map. I take it with me to everywhere. I like this. Yehuda v'Shomron is all of the middle of Israel, the heart of Israel. 22% of the land is Yehuda v'Shomron. Say Yehuda v'Shomron, Judea and Samaria, 22%. This is the north of Shomron, north of Samaria. When you think about it, look, Gaza is so small. North of Shomron, only the north of Shomron is bigger more than twice of all of Gaza together. Just imagine what would happen if Chas v'Shalom will give that back to the Arabs. We have here much worse than what we have today in Gaza. How close is it to every place in Israel? North of Shomron, 23 miles to Haifa, 23 miles to Tel Aviv, 11 miles to Netanya, 9 miles to Hadera, close to every place in Israel.
What's above it?
Haifa, Afula, Akko, Betura, but this is only the north of Shomron.
In Haifa, in that north area, they got wine, right? The wine. Yeah, the wine.
So Homesh began to be 35 families after the Intifada started, like I said, when the 3 guys were murdered. And then they looked for people to come to help them to live in Homesh. They looked and Baruch Hashem, they find religious families who came to help them. And Baruch Hashem became to be again 70 families, but also not for long. When this engagement plan started in 2005, you all heard about what happened in Gush Katif, in Gaza, but not everyone knows that in the same plan, they had also to destroy and to give back. It's not to give back, it's to give a present. 4 places in north of Shomron. Homesh is one of them. Homesh, Sanur, Ganim and Kadim. They came, destroyed everything in Gush Katif, in Gaza, and also in the 4 places in north of Shomron. It's not the same area, but it was the same plan. The idea is all of the north of Shomron I just showed you, they wanted to give it to the Arabs, that they would have the option to build a state of Palestine. Before I came here, every time before I go to United States, I go to Homesh to say hello and goodbye. And what I found now, before I came here, I want to show you what I found. Where's my bag? 1 minute. My bag.
Yeah, is this it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't steal it.
What I found
They
in
probably
Homesh.
use everything.
This is of the roof of the houses. That's only what's left in Homesh. Trees, of course, roads, and wake roofs of the houses.
Like now?
Yeah.
Now that's all that's.
That's what I found last
Oh,
week.
after they raised it,
After they
destroyed it?
destroyed, that's what I found last week. Nothing was left. No houses, no swimming pool. They had a nice swimming pool.
It's a tile roof, yeah.
No children, no families, nothing.
Oh.
1 year later, the families who lived in Homesh said, we want to come back. We want to rebuild again the place. They had 3 big demonstrations. Independence Day, Chol HaMoed Pesach, summer holiday. Thousands of people from Israel came to Homesh to say to the government, we want to rebuild this place again. Okay, 3 times, but how are we going to continue? How are we going to stay in Homesh every day? They thought, what we're going to do? They say, let's establish a yeshiva in Homesh. If we have a yeshiva in Homesh, we have students, we have young people, they will be in Homesh every day. It's maybe a nice idea, but how you can do it? No houses, no electricity, no water, no security, nothing. They land outside, under the trees, in the summer. In the winter, Baruch Hashem, we have caves. They land inside caves for years. When I was 16 years old, 14 years ago, I landed in the high school in Beth El. I got a phone call from a friend of mine on Thursday morning, asking me, "Hi Shmuel, can you please come to Homesh? We need a minyan for Shabbat, 10 people." I said, "Okay." I never been in Homesh, I don't know what is that, but I said, "Okay." I went to Homesh for Shabbat, and I was shocked to see a few students inside the cave. It was winter. Whole Shabbat inside cave, without electricity, without water. They had like jerry cans, nothing. A whole Shabbat, but everyone had a big smile. They knew we're doing the right thing. I remember when we wanted to warm the food, we don't have like electricity, so we took many Shabbat candles and we put many of them together, and on them we put like a thin metal, and on that we put the food. So it wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold. Baruch Hashem. 1 week later, again, Thursday morning, another phone call from the same friend. "Okay, what do you want now? Please come again for Shabbat." I said, "Okay." Second Shabbat, third Shabbat, 4, 5, 6, every Shabbat, one after each other. I went to Homesh, my parents, my mom told me, "Shmuel, thank you very much. Because what you do, I daven very hard every morning that you will be safe." Every Shabbat I went to Homesh. After 6 Shabbatot, he called me again and asked, "Shmuel," I said, "What do you want me now, to come again?" He said, "No, I want you to organize this Shabbat."
Wow.
What does it mean to organize? I was only 16 years old. You need to find 10 people, find someone to cook the food, and someone with a gun for security. I said, "Okay." And we did it. And another Shabbat, and like that, slowly, I began to be connected to the yeshiva in Homesh. 3 years later, 19, I got married, Baruch Hashem, and we decided to go to learn in Homesh. We can't live in Homesh. No one can live in Homesh. We don't have houses, so if you're a student, it's okay maybe to sleep outside under the trees. But when you're married, it's a bit hard. So we lived in the Yeshuv, in the settlement, Shavei Shomron. This is the most closer Yeshuv to Homesh, 15 minutes drive. Those days, the Avrechim, we say, the married people, every day when they finish learning, in the end of the day, they go back home by car, and the students who aren't married sleep in Homesh. Every day we go to Homesh, every day we go back to Homesh. Very late, because we didn't have cars, we need every day to find someone to take us. Not only find someone to take us, he needs to have a gun, so it's not easy. We got home, I think, every day between 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock at night for the whole first year of my marriage. But Baruch Hashem, we did it. And slowly, the yeshiva grew, 10 students, 15, 20, 30, and I'm jumping a few years later. December 21, I finished already to learn in the yeshiva. I became to be like the director of Homesh, to build the place, also security with the government, what we need, if we need something. And like I said before, with the married people, when they finish learning, they go back home. By car, the students sleep, and who didn't get married sleep there, outside with mattresses. 1 minute, one story I forgot to tell you. Before I got married, I went to Homesh one night, and I thought it would be like a nice day, but I went to sleep outside. Suddenly, 5 o'clock in the morning, started raining so hardly. We got up, all of us, mamash wet. We went to the cave, 1 kilometer, but now it's dry. It's okay. So
You
I
were
got-
16 then? You were 16?
a few years later, 19 already.
Okay.
I jumping back to what I started telling. December 21, I in Shavei Shomron, my house, in the middle of showering my children. And like I said, if something security happens, they call me, and I call the army. They finished learning in the end of the day, and Yehuda Dimentman, you may have heard about him. If not so, you will now, and we will see it also in the film very soon. He finished learning, and he knocked on the bima and said, "I did this siyum." And all of the students asked him, "What masechet you finished?" And he said, "No, I didn't finish a whole masechet. I finished only one daf. For one daf, I don't need to be happy. It's a nice vote, but we didn't understand what he meant. Only 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, the married people go to the car, they start drive towards Shaveh Shomron, and in the entrance of Homesh, when they wanted to turn left towards Shaveh Shomron, 3 Arab terrorists waited for them at the other side of the road, starting shooting on the car, 40 bullets. 40 bullets, and Yehuda Dimetman got a bullet on his neck, and I got a phone call from the driver. He shouted to me by phone, they're shooting at us, shooting at us, shooting at us, and Yehuda Dimetman got a bullet on his neck. I was in the middle of showering my children. I told my wife I must go, take the children. I took the car, I drove towards them. I remember when I got to them, we took out Yehuda Dimetman from the car, but it was too late. He passed away immediately.
Wow.
That was Thursday night. Motzei Shabbat, we sat all of the people of Homesh together with the mayor of the Shomron, Yossi Dagan. You may have heard about him, thinking, what can we do to help Homesh? Because the government, it wasn't this government, it was the government before. They said, okay, it's a dangerous place. Let's finish be there. Let's destroy the yeshiva. Let's close the yeshiva. We can't stay there. It's a very, very dangerous place. And we said, no, the opposite. We must stay here. We heard in the news, the mom of the Arab terrorists, she said, I'm so happy what my son did, because only like that, those Jewish people will learn that this land is ours. And we said, no, we must teach them that this land is ours for always. We start thinking what we can do, and we said, okay, let's do a big demonstration in the end of the Shiva in Homesh with 2,000 people who will come to Homesh. And we said, no, we won't manage. People didn't heard about Homesh in those days. 500 people we don't know to bring in Homesh. We talked and talked, I think 2 hours, and after 2 hours, a friend of mine came without being invited, but he came. I said, guys, if you want to manage and to win and to stay in Homesh, you must bring 10,000 people to Homesh. Okay, we don't know to bring 500, 2,000, 10,000 now. Another 2 hours we talked, and in the end we said, okay, we will do it together, Be'ezrat Hashem, 10,000 people will come to Homesh. That was Motzei Shabbat. Sunday morning, all of the students didn't go to the yeshiva. Went up north, down south, to all of the yeshivot, all of the schools, high schools, Bnei Akiva, all of the places, asking people, please come to Homesh in the end of the Shiva. We must have you. We need to keep Homesh in Jewish hands. Baruch Hashem, Sunday, we had already 10 buses who said they will come. Monday, 30, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, I got a phone call from a friend of mine telling me that we have already 150 buses who are planning to come tomorrow. And I said, stop, don't bring more, I don't know to pay so many buses. But the Rosh Yeshiva, the rabbi, when he heard me say stop, he said, Homesh isn't yours, it's not mine, it's of all of Am Yisrael. Who wants to come to Homesh, will come to Homesh, and Hashem will help us to pay those buses. We did it. In the end, Thursday morning, all of the buses came, 180 buses, plus 1,200 family cars. They went to Shaveh Shomron. From Shaveh Shomron, all of those 15,000 people went by foot from Shaveh Shomron to Homesh. The big miracle is it's not that we had 15,000, that it started raining only after they came. Started raining, 15,000 people went by foot. My parents, also 60 years old, I saw people with wheelchairs. People, old and young, women, and everyone came to Homesh in the rain, wet. But all of those 15,000 people had a big smile on the face. They knew we're doing the right thing. And Baruch Hashem, after that, the government said, okay, we don't touch now. Let's wait a bit until the end of the 30, until the end of the 30 days. We say 30 days, okay, another demonstration. Now in Jerusalem, again, 10,000 people came to a big demonstration in Jerusalem. So they said, okay, let's wait a bit more until we close the yeshiva. So we did another demonstration in Chol HaMoed Pesach. Again, 15,000 people who came to Homesh by foot. Baruch Hashem, the government was changed, and 2 years ago, in March, we managed to delete the disengagement law in the Knesset, and since then, everyone can come to Homesh eagerly and to be there. And Baruch Hashem, we started building the place. A few months ago, we had 1.5 years ago, we didn't have any families, and Baruch Hashem, today we have 13 families who live in Homesh with their children. We have buses every morning for the children to the school, and they help us. We have an army base today, a new army base with 90 soldiers every day in Homesh. And Baruch Hashem, slowly, we returning back to Homesh. Homesh was the first place that the government destroyed in 2005. And if we manage that, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to manage also the other places. Hope also Gaza, Bekarov, Be'ezrat Hashem. I want to show you, before I continue, a bit about Homesh, 4 minutes. They destroyed Homesh not only in 2005, you will see it here also, all over the years. Before we got the permission 2 years ago, so many times they came and destroyed the little tents we built it. But more than today, they help us. We have an army base. And like I said, I will tell another few words after the video.
You might wait for the screen. Yeah.
Let there be darkness.
A settlement in northern Samaria was established in 1980 and was home to around 70 families. In August 2005, the government decided to evacuate settlements in northern Samaria and Gush Katif as part of the disengagement plan. That remains are desolate roads and empty staircases. A year later, Homesh Yeshiva was established. For more than 17 years, this group has held on to the land of Homesh.
שנחזור הביתה. אף אחד לא ידע באיזה ציור זה יקרה, כמה זמן זה ייקח, אבל זה ברור שכיוון שזה דבר כל כך אמיתי, אם אני דבק במקום הזה, יום אחד עם ישראל יחזור אליו. מה אומרים לנו? פמיניסטים, התשובה צריכה להיות קודם כל תשובה בתוכנו, פנימית. אנחנו נמצאים פה, יש פה מצווה להיות פה.
Yeshiva was demolished over 300 times throughout the years, but we're not giving up. The pain caused by the attack drove us into action, and the return to Homesh became a symbol in Judea and Samaria. Thousands of people marched to Homesh, demanding that the Israeli government allow us to return and rebuild the Homesh settlement. Persistence of the Homesh Yeshiva led to the cancellation of the disengagement law in the Knesset, allowing the lawful return of Jews to Homesh and northern Samaria.
החוק עבר בקריאה שלישית.
Immediately after the disengagement law was overturned, the yeshiva began building a settlement, including a permanent structure for the study hall and residential buildings for families.
If I continue, when I finish,
I have a question.
yeah, but when he finishes, before I continue, I just forgot to say in the beginning that this year will be for the Ilui Nishmat, someone I know that he just got killed in God a few hours ago. I've been in his wedding 7 months ago. Got married, and it will be for Ilui Nishmato, and we'll be able to go back and beat Gush Katif, B'ezrat Hashem, b'mehera. So it's hard. It's hard to tell the story of 18 years in only 4 minutes. But I think when you see now how the students live outside, they go by foot to Homesh, thousands of people, learn inside tents, caves, winter, summer, doesn't matter. But Haikar, to do it with Simcha. We know that this land is ours. We know we're doing the right thing. It takes time. Sometimes 18 years, but in the end, we got the permission. If you do something and you believe this is the right thing, in the end, we do it, we manage, and we have atzlacha. On the way here from Miami today morning, I heard, it still didn't pursan public, but B'ezrat Hashem, another 22 Yeshuvim going to be recognized by the government in the next few weeks.
Wow.
Be'ezrat Hashem. Betzalel Smotrich doing a wonderful work. We know each other very good. And Baruch Hashem, also Homesh is one of them. And also Sanur, another place. Be'ezrat Hashem. Yehuda v'Shamron, I said before, we have 22% of the land of Israel. We have today in Yehuda v'Shamron more than 500,000 Jewish people. More than 500,000 Jewish people in 150 settlements. But all of those places, they hold only 3% of the land of Yehuda v'Shamron. Only 3%. Why? Most of those Yeshuvim, settlements, have fences. If you have a fence, you don't go outside the fence. You stay inside. So what happened outside the fence? Arabs go there. But what's happening in the last few years, you may heard about the farms. Farms in Yehuda v'Shamron, farm with animals. Yeah, in Yehuda v'Shamron. We have today more than 80 farms all over Yehuda v'Shamron, but only 80. Each one of them has between 1 and 2 or 3 families, but those farms hold 10% of the land of Yehuda v'Shamron. More than 3 times the amount of all of the settlements together. 500,000 Jewish and 200 families. The 200 families hold more than 3 times the amount of all of the 500,000 Jewish people. How could it be? Like I said, they have fences, they don't have fences. It's okay. It's great. We need sometimes fences, but I want only to explain now about those farms. The farms go to a mountain like Homesh, without electricity, water, security, nothing, to a mountain without anything, and they start with their hands to build the place. Slowly, they have another family and a bit of electricity because they have like solar panels, but the haikar to build them and to keep the land all over the area with their animals, because they have sheep and cows, they need to feed them, so they go to eat all over the area of the mountain. Be'ezrat Hashem, like I said before, I live today in Shabbat Shamron, but Be'ezrat Hashem not for long. I and my wife decided just a few weeks ago that in 2 months' time, we're going to establish a new farm near Ma'ale Levona.
Farm?
Yeah,
Farm.
Be'ezrat Hashem. I don't know yet how we're going to do it, but I already put my kids in the school there, so we must do it. And I also rented my house, so I can't be there in another 2 months. So we must start. But we're going to establish a new farm near Ma'ale Levona because it's the area I know good that the Arabs started in the last few years to go all over the area, and we want to go to keep it. So how we're doing it? We're going to this place with my family and my 4 children. Another friend of mine, he has also 8 children, and we live there. I hope to have a bit of security, solar panels, and water. We will have like a big tank of, and every few days we have a truck who will come and bring us water. But Be'ezrat Hashem, this is what's happening today in Yudav Shomron. So many places, all over, north, south of Yudav Shomron, of course. Baruch Hashem, keep the land.
That's still Samaria?
Yeah. Between Binyamin and Samaria, mamash on the middle. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we want to continue and add a bit of the story, and I will be happy to answer questions in 2 minutes. But Be'ezrat Hashem, we do what we can, but we need our brothers' help. That we will be able to continue. I build the place. We do it with our hands. It's okay. With our children, it's okay. But we don't have the option to buy things. It's so expensive. Solar panels, water, pipes, security, drones, so many things. So without Hashem, you will be able to help us. And of course, we have tax ID for the United States. The best checks. If not, we have also like a link for donations. And I will be happy to answer your questions. And when you come to Israel, call me, and I will take you for a tour to the farms.
Now we're going to have 15 minutes of questions, and if you have a question, please keep it under 30 seconds.
Okay. You're talking about thousands of people, and you're talking about terrorism. How many guns are in your community of thousands of people?
I have one. My wife has one.
Good,
Most of the people have.
most of the people, and
Yeah.
they know how to use them.
Hope so. You can
Okay,
ask if you used it, but I won't answer you.
this makes me very pleased to hear this,
Yeah. Oh, Hashem.
because fire at this point in time must be met with fire.
Most of the people in our communities have guns. Also the guys and also how to get and also
Most,
women.
Most.
Most.
In Switzerland, it is a law. Every able-bodied person must have a
Yeah.
gun
Yeah.
in Switzerland.
It's a question, not a statement.
Oh,
It's question and answer.
Just
Okay.
because.
I would be happy to come and help train and arm those.
Oh, he's
They
retired.
all
He's
go to
retired
the army.
New York
They're good.
police.
They're good.
Yeah.
Retired New York police, yes.
Just because you have the farms, why is that?
I'm making an offer, that's all.
Arabs from coming in there.
Good question. Not always. But kishem Hashem nikra alecha ve'yaru mimeka. We have a pasuk so that if you're doing the right thing, you have like, how you say, protection.
Protection.
Are they afraid? You know how the Arabs call Homesh? I don't know why, but they call it like that. Jabal el Majnun.
What?
Ah.
What?
Jabal el Majnun. The mountain of the crazy people. Yeah? We don't do nothing. We don't do nothing. But Kishem Hashem, this is one answer.
I'm gonna go there.
Second answer, not always. We need to protect ourselves. Every farm have people awake all the time, the night time, in the daytime, Shabbatot, Yom Kippur, all the
So you
time.
do security? around?
Yes, so we have only 5 people in the farm. So you need every night to do 3 hours, you see, 2 hours, every night. Doesn't matter if you have a baby 1 week old. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
It doesn't matter if the parents want you to come today for Leila Seder. Doesn't matter. If you want to be together in Leila Seder, you can come to us. That's what we say.
Do you have any army personnel there?
Baruch Hashem, since October 7, most of the people of the farm have a soldier from the army, because the army today understand how important it. Not only that, I started working in the last month with an organization who support all other farms in all of Yehuda Shomron. The army many times come to us and ask us, please establish here a farm and here a farm, because we can't take care of this area. We need your help. The Jordan Valley, you know how many guns from Jordan comes to Yehuda Shomron? Thousands. They ask us, put here, please, a farm, and here a farm, and here a farm. This is the only way we can take care that guns won't come from Jordan to Yehuda Shomron.
It's snowing up there, and you're in the mountains.
No, most 99% no.
No. Now, how far are you from Jordanian border?
Depends what farm. We have 80 farms, so some farms is much close, some farm is very far.
Because the first time I was in Israel was 1968, after the 67 war. I was in uniform, American.
We didn't have those day farms.
I know that, but I was on the Jordanian border and they shot at me.
Okay, so
I'm still here.
so they don't want, yeah.
No, Paul, no. Did you shoot that?
I did. No, I didn't shoot that. I ran away like.
When the government came and took everyone away, so I'm assuming the Arabs moved in and took over. So at what point, how did it happen that the Yishuv started there, if it's in Arab hands? I want to understand the history exactly.
Yeah, so the interesting thing, the Arabs don't need this place. We wanted to give it back without any reason. They didn't need it. When they destroyed, they didn't go back. They didn't go in until today. The other three places, Sanur, Ganim, and Kadim, in north of Shomron, nothing there. They don't need it. Yeah, they go there sometimes, to smoke, but not more than that. It's a quiet place, no one sees them, you see? But nothing. They don't need the land.
What were they thinking?
When you don't do the right thing, you don't do the right thing.
If you do the right thing, God will watch you.
Is there any plans for Gaza?
Oh, yeah.
We're davening.
That's a different subject.
We're davening. Another
It's gonna be
Shem.
like the Vegas
I
Strip.
believe it will come
Gaza
back.
Strip,
I
Vegas
believe we will come back. We must. If we want them back, we have another October 7 in a few years' time. It's have to be.
No. Can you explain a little bit more, besides for farms, what else do they do, does Israel do to get more land in the settlers? There are other things to do, right? Plants, trees.
Today, most of the things is the farms. The farms plant also trees and do also like grapes and wineries and all of those. But all of the things go by the farms, most of them, in the last 10 years.
Right.
You have
You want to explain to people who don't know A, B, and C and what part you're talking
Okay, since the Oslo, so the government and the Palestinians did a, how you say, scam.
Bring the Oslo
Yeah.
Accord.
It is,
That
it's
we-
the,
That
is
we
it the
have.
Knesset that is keeping you from doing
It's the
what
Oslo
you need to
Accord.
do?
Yeah, well, I will.
Then get a new Knesset.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
get a new government.
Very soon.
It's not-
So since Oslo, so we have in the Yehuda Shomron, all of the land is mechulak. You say mechulak?
Divided.
Divided.
You want me to
We-
explain to it?
If we sorts of land, A, B, and C. A, Palestinians. C, Jewish. B, half. For Medini, אומרים Medini? Political, the government of Israel, and no, is the Palestinians, and security is us. They don't build them. This is what we talked on Oslo. But of course, they build it. They build it on B. Not only that,
Who's building on B?
the Palestinians. Now, the very important thing to know. In 2009, I say ראש הממשלה
Prime Minister.
of the Palestinians. He was named Fiad. They had a Fiad plan. Fiad plan in 2009 was to think how we, the Palestinians, can build in the area of C. How we can take the area of the Jewish people. So what they did, every two settlements, they built between, not a village, like two houses. They know if the two houses here, the two settlements won't be connected. If there's a settlement they build next to, they know exactly it won't be, it won't grow. And that was the idea of the farms. The farms go today between settlements, and the Arab Baruch Hashem go away, and we build a farm, and slowly we come to be connected next to settlements, and slowly we do it larger, the place of the Jewish people.
So is B still empty or B is now starting to be Jewish?
No, it's more Palestinians, but we believe that with also we need to daven, and not only to daven, to work, to delete the ABC. So when I have a farm, I build like the house in the sea, but I take the animals also to be. Like that I can keep the land in Jewish hands. Maybe not to build it now, in the future, yes, but at least we need to keep it. And in the future, it will be easier.